So I'll let the others join. So the class today is about, there are a few questions that been asked, like, why am I coming into the same conflict? And if so, why am I having the most challenging issues, or the challenging family, or challenging relationship, or challenging with the health? So is it there was something wrong about it? What we are coming in the class is I will answer to that question in the class. So there was one question, and the second question is, I'm doing everything what is meant to be doing, and I'm still having the same things, situations happening to me. So those two questions to answer is gently coming into the practice is about the great rebalancing. Now, there is nothing wrong about you born into something very difficult, because you might think, I don't deserve this. But it's actually absolutely, when you go through it, you will understand the deeper compassion of why you are there, and your realization becomes more aligned with it. And the difficulty itself is constantly will be there. It's not because it's against you, because it has become the place that you're going to enter into the most realized version of yourself. And you may coming into a place that you're letting go of the conflict. If you take an oyster, and when the oyster lives in the ocean, a sand that goes in a tiny particle of sand is very difficult to eat. But that same sand particle, with time and acceptance, turn into that beautiful pearl. So I'm just using it as not that oysters should be cultivated for pearls or anything like that. It's just as an example of what wisdom it brings. It's the same thing, that the difficulty, that if you're going to face the difficulty without numbing it, and you're going to face it not by force, but it's there, and you become the realized version of it. It's not going away. It just doesn't affect. So in this Christmas, this new year that we are coming into that great rebalancing of how to heal. If we are taking the right medication, we are taking the right practice, we have chosen the right place to live, we have chosen the right partner to live. And still, if it's coming for you, we have to basically divide it into three. What can help the healing to go more further, but not to avoid it, is the belonging, and then the harmony and the purpose of your life. Now, I will work through these things very gently through the practice with you, rather than just answering one at a time why this is happening. So now, elongate your spine. I'll move the camera towards Darren. Shoulders roll back, opening up that chest, and just to elevate that space of heart, and very gently coming into that space of that elevation, and allow that spine to gently elongate, and shoulders to be dropped, but it's broadened. And you're observing this breath without any difficulty. And if there is a difficulty in the breath, you're very gently observing that space, very gently, of the breath, or the place that it is. Now, very gently take a deep breath in, arms raised onto the crown, interlacing the fingers, palms facing up, very gently. Now, very gently Drop the arms and twist the spine to the right and completely couple of breathing while you're inside the right side, opening up that right side. Now to come into that great place of the great rebalancing for this new year, you have to understand the healing is not failing, it is evolving. Even when the new job, the new relationship, the new medication, many of you will still feel stuck. And today's class is about healing requires returning into these three forces, belonging, inner harmony, and purpose. Now, these forces restore the natural intelligence of the human system. Very gently take a deep breath in and come back. Shoulders relaxed. Now stretch the neck to the left side. So you can use the left palm and very gently keep the right shoulder back, opening up back into the center. Now arms raise onto the crown, interlacing the fingers. If you want to change the leg formation, very gently hold that position. Take a couple of deep breaths in, and on your exhale, twist the spine to the left side. And once you twist the spine to the left side, open up and start breathing into a few more breaths onto the left side, opening out and pull the belly in. Observe that you are observing the thoughts, you're observing the breath, you're observing everything which is happening. Now, the belonging is the part that healing cannot happen alone. Humans regulate through the connections. The nervous system settles when we feel supported. Of course, the other things that you are using, the medication, the relationship, they calm the system, but belonging to that place calms the systems, not just the symptoms. So understand, one calms the symptoms, one calms the system. Now back into the center. Now very gently holding onto the knees and completely breathe out to the cat, anus lock, navel lock, throat lock. Just collapse. Most of you are not healing because they are try to heal alone. So the key point of this class is the nervous system co-regulates. Loneliness increases the biochemical stress. Now breathing in, tongue roll up onto the upper palate, energy gaze onto the third eye, breathe out. So really work on that pelvic floor. Anus lock, navel lock, throat lock. Couple of more deep breaths in and out, and very gently coming that emotional presence of even the movement heals deeper than advice. Because when people are supported, it amplifies the resilience. Healing begins the moment you stop healing alone. So today for the reflection is for you, who do you allow to stand with you? And where do you deny yourself supported? Now back into the center. Now very gently coming into the Sukhasana so the ankles are not crossed anymore. Try to keep the knees a little bit below the hip level. If not, you can keep a block on the tailbone and lift up. Now take a deep breath in and walk those palms into the front. Drop the elbows, releasing the tension. And really see how do you feel on this reflection, where you hold your tension. Back of the neck is totally relaxed. Now, the forces of this part is very gently, we have worked through the greater rebalancing, and we have talked about the belonging, and we have come into the reflection, who do you allow to stand with you, and where do you deny yourself the support? Now, very gently take a deep breath in and coming back, shoulders relaxed, chest open. Keep that heart elevated, keep that kidneys more buoyant. Keep that rib cage softened. Now very gently take a deep breath in and bring that left foot into the back. Now we go into the force two of the rebalancing is the inner harmony. And what is this inner harmony? So we are coming into that pigeon pose. Take a deep breath, shoulders roll back, opening up the chest. Elongate the spine. Take a deep breath in and breath out. Drop the elbows. Walk those palms, releasing the tension. Now, for the inner harmony, the mind and the body must move together. So even in the posture, mind takes the direction and give the body to move together. Because healing cannot enter. Now, open up those palms and relax, shoulders open. Healing cannot enter a system in conflict. Even you are using the medication, you're using the right relationship, and you have moved to a right place, right job, right partner. Why it is delaying is it only cannot enter into a system in conflict. What is this conflict? The most inner suffering is a mismatch between what the heart wants and what the mind forces, constantly forcing it. Even there is a valid reason that mind does it. Because of the heart and the mind is in conflict, this healing is not happening, because then you will die down on the relationship, will die down on the place that you are in, the new job, none of these things, because we have a conflict now. Now take a deep breath in, very gently coming back, opening up that chest, elevate the space of the heart. And if you feel this shift happening, you can stop the movement and allow the breath to move into that area and hold that area very gently until that is released in the tissue. Now into a plank. Now stronger on the pelvic floor. Very strong on the pelvic floor, and very gently drop the knees and stretch the spine. Now really allow that stretch to gravitate, and also the breath to spread the body, the energy. Now, as I explained the mismatch between what the heart wants and the mind forces, and harmony only returns when the body is heard again. And the key points that you have to remember here is trauma disconnects the inner voice. If you are constantly living in the past, can you return back to the past? No. So there is no past. Try to go into the past. Can you really create the past? But on the thought form, it lives, because it is your whole system is created by the thought and the emotion. Now, what this trauma does is it disconnects your inner voice. What is inner voice? Inner conflict creates chronic tension. So you are constantly moved by tension. Very gently, when you come into this realization, crawling and bringing the chest into the front, elbows onto the floor, very gently soften the hips and breathing into a gentle cobra. Now, if the inner conflicts create the chronic tension, what is the other part? The harmony is the coherence, not perfection. So harmony is the coherence and not perfection. Then the body heals when safety is returned. Now, what is the safety we are talking about here? The body heals when the mind stops interrupting. Body only heals when the mind, so you have to observe your thoughts on the witnessing, and it only heals when the mind stops interrupting. So you have to ask constantly, are you allowing this interruption to happen? And you're more keeping your interruption happening rather than you have come to a place of healing and understanding it. realization. The reflection question is turn to the right and open up the body. Turn on to the left and opening up. Now, inquire what is the conflict inside me? What part of you needs to be heard? Now, this heard is not a service people are hearing you. It's about you hearing it. What parts of you needs to be heard? Now, this is why there are a lot of podcasts and all these things, but people with trauma go back and create their trauma furthermore because they don't know how to come out of it because they hear it not from coherence. Now back to the center and allow the third eye to drop onto the hands and very gently roll the forehead side to side to relax. So now that's the harmony we are talking. Earlier we're talking about the belonging and why we are not healing because we just feel that trauma is something really happening to us constantly, but it's not. It had happened, but the mind keeps stop interrupting. The body can very gently heal. So you have to understand what conflict is inside you and what part of you need to be heard. Now, when you come to that realization, very gently take a deep breath in and bring that left leg up high as possible, keeping the hip low and left knee to the left side of the chest. And very gently stretch the leg to the left side if you can. And then gently put the elbows onto the floor and breathing into a gentle cobra. And keep the hips and opening up because we are working on the body to open up these spaces that mind keep on body to be in that dark place of not healed. Now the fourth tree is the soul need direction. If it's purpose, the soul need direction. What is direction? Soul needs the flow. It's not about achievement. People suffer not because life is hard, but because life feels meaningless for them. Now take a deep breath in, come back and relax that left side and let's do the right side the same way you have done. Now you have come into the belonging, you have come into the harmony, now you have come into the purpose. Now gently elbows onto the floor, amazingly working out this. Now very gently coming into a gentle cobra. So purpose is alignment. Like any of these alignment, purpose is alignment. And what does that alignment do is the feeling my life matters, you have taken the responsibility. So the purpose restore the identity, not as a separation and its vitality. So the key points you have to observe in this posture is meaning stabilizes the mind. And what does the purpose do then? Purpose increases the emotional energy. Now, what happens when the meaning stabilizes the mind and purpose increases the emotional energy? The direction reduces the anxiety, anger, and fear. Now, very gently take a deep breath in and come back and stretch the leg into the back. Now, do you know that anxiety and excitement for the mind of then the realization happens is the same? So every time I have anxious thought, instead of saying it's anxious and this has happened and I'm not happy about it, I say it's excitement for me. Something exciting happening. And I start, when I say the excitement, I could see the anxiety reduces it because I'm excited. And now palms onto the chest level, breathing in into the up face. Observe the mind. You're working with someone very gently. Observe the body, observe the breath. Breathe out towards a down face. Now, in this down phase, you can keep the feet pointing at each other just to open up that hips and the lock and the groin, and keeping that palms nice and flat, and keep that neck not taking any tension. And a couple of more breaths, and then you can bring the left foot into the front onto the pigeon pose. Now take a deep breath in, shoulders roll back, opening up that chest, elevate the space of the heart, and very gently drop the elbows and walk those palms. Now palms can either face up if you feel the tension on the shoulders. If there's tension on the wrist and the elbows, you can face the way that is going to be easy. Now you have find the purpose. So soul needs direction, not achievement. And we know that we suffer not because life is hard, but because life feels meaningless. So, and then you want to have something positive about it, but you don't know the conflict. It's still moved to that place. So the purpose is the alignment, and the feeling is your life is matters. That's why you're taking now this time to heal. And the purpose restore that vitality and the identity. And there's meaning, intention, so it stabilizes the mind. Purpose increases that emotional energy, and the direction reduces its anxiety. So anxiety and excitement, remember, so another clue so you can work it out. And this contribution strengthens the identity, and heal is otherwise impossible when your soul is directionless. So reflection here in this posture is what small actions brings meaning into my life today. Something very, very small, something that you recognize right next to you in gratitude that you're breathing. You have a moving body. You have a place for this body to live. Not having the ownership of anything, but look at these small blessings so that the purpose become realigned. Now very gently come back into a plank. Strong arm of pelvic flow. Drop the knees and rotate the hips wider. This is very important to reconnect back to the digestion. Observe onto the other side. Observe. Now into a neutral spine, and left leg stretch into the back. And very gently, left arm reaching into the front, up to the ceiling, opening up. Couple of more breaths and keep that alignment correct. Couple of more breaths, left arm reaching into the back and touch the floor. Now left knee onto the floor, right leg stretching into the back. Take a deep breath in, right arm reaching into the front, up to the ceiling. Couple of more deep breaths. Reaching into the back and touch the floor. Now into a cat position. Breathing into a cow position. This is very important for the lumbar spine and the thoracic spine and the cervical spine. Breathe out. So you arch the back. Breathing in. Breathing in. Breathe out. Neutral spine. Now left arm reaching into the front. Clench and unclench under the armpit. And right arm reaching into the front. And just try to get something that's stuck on the middle of the back to release. If your breath has difficulty, gently lift up your head and keep little cushion there, or find a comfortable place to breathe. Couple of more deep breathing. I'm very gently coming back. Shoulders relax and just open. Take your time to come back. Now let's do the other side. Right arm reaching up to the ceiling under the armpit. Arms stretch. Couple of more deep breaths and drop the hips a little bit more. Couple of more breaths and gently coming back. When you're ready, very gently coming back. Now very gently stretch the spine, knees wide apart. Now let the body soften. As I say, the healing is impossible when your soul doesn't have a direction or directionless. What small actions brings meaning into. Yeah, it can be you or someone else's life today. Now very gently coming back. Shoulders relax, chest open. Now keep that knees together. Now lift up onto the knees. Arms raise onto the crown, interlacing the fingers, palms facing up. Lift up the space of the heart. Very gently, a gentle arch here without tilting the head, a gentle arch. The whole from the hip to the arm without tilting the head. Keep the head strong. Breath out and relax. Now very gently sitting in the Vajrasana, so your bum is dropped onto the heels. And if there's no pain, otherwise just try to keep a block or a bolster in between. Now very gently stretch the legs into the front. Now shake those legs and release any tension. Now keep the feet mat width apart and let's get the toes pointing at each other. Now very gently feet back to its own position and slightly bend the knees. Now arms raise onto the crown and rolling forward from the hips. So the moment you feel that the arms are becoming stronger to pull the posture, stop it. Start rolling from the hips, opening up those kidneys, opening up those ovaries, stretching that digestion, and very gently dropping. Now the last bit is the head dropping down. Head is looking forward as much as possible, and you're rolling from the hips, and you're also getting the back of the thighs to be open. Now, if you have a bolster, you can keep the bolster and support this posture. If you want to go a little bit further and you feel like I'm pushing too much, then you can bring the knees up to your upper chest and drop a little bit more from the hips. Or you can pull the bum muscle and roll forward a little bit. It's up to you. There is nothing that is restoring the harmony with force. Now take a deep breath in and coming back, shoulders relax, and let the chest open. Now palms onto the floor, feet drawing onto the mat, feet together, and lifting up the hips. So palms in the back, there's and feet into the front, together, and lift up. So whether it's a tabletop, whether it's feet totally stretched and the legs are totally straightened, it's up to you. Now take a deep breath in and come up and lift up, and relax. Now knees to the chest to complete. Breathe out. Breathing in, arms raise onto the crown. Breathe out. Breathing in. Breathe out. Breathing in. Breathe out. Now very gently drop the elbows into the back. So if there is a bolster and your elbows are not stabilized, you can drop onto a bolster. Now very gently, not so much tilting the head, but not also look up to the ceiling, and try to elevate the chest more. And don't allow the armpits to sink. Breathe. Now very gently drop the elbows and totally drop onto the floor. Now bringing the knees to the chest to complete. Breathe out. Take a deep breath in and breath out, forehead onto the knee. Now breath in and drop the back of the head onto the floor. There's no tension. Now lock onto the feet and feet stretch up to the ceiling. Then the knees bend under the armpits and opening up a little bit more. So lock onto the toes and then stretch the legs up and bring the knees under the armpit while locking onto the toe. If that is impossible, just bring the knees closer to the armpits. Now left knee on top of the right knee and dropping onto the left side. Arms stretch onto the shoulder heights. Opening up the arms a little bit more. And head looking into the opposite side. Couple of more breaths. Come back into the center. We do the other side the same way. Right knee on top of the left and dropping onto the right. Palms facing up, very gently looking into the opposite direction. Now back into the center and relax. Now feet closer to the buttocks and tuck the tailbone under and very gently lifting up and finding the strength of that hip. Arms raise onto the crown, so it goes right back. Keep that stretch. Don't contract the hamstring. Now very gently coming back and dropping the spine. Now shoulders relax, just open and find a comfortable position to lie down. So whether you want the sole of the feet to get the knees wide apart, it's up to you. If you want to stretch the legs and totally relax, it's up to you. Now we have done the belonging, we have done the inner harmony, we have done the purpose. Now let's move into a self-healing practice. Reconnecting back to the dharma we talked about, reconnecting to belonging. So now close your eyes. Take a couple of more breaths and imagine one person who has ever supported you. Feel them next to you. Breathe. In this breath, you're bringing the feeling of that I'm not alone. But in the same breath, you're re-establishing I love connection. Because with that connection, you're restoring the inner harmony. Now I want you to gently scan the body and find tension. And place your hand there. And I want you to gently whisper, I hear you. Allow the area to soften. I hear you. And allow the area to soften. Now the part next to it is the awakening purpose. Ask quietly, what action today brings meaning? Let the answer rise without the force of the mind. Now, very gently, healing is very natural. When belonging returns, so where there was ever a conflict, now there is no conflict. Let the heart soften for a while. And when the heart softens, when the harmony returns, let the mind settle. Observe how the mind is settling. It will still run on the loop. Because you switch off a fan doesn't mean it will stop propelling. It will propel, but it doesn't have the energy to go fast. So now let the purpose return. Let the soul to organize itself. And very gently healing begins again. Let the breath lengthen. Let the heart drop into gentleness. I want you to feel the support of the ground. Let the body arrive fully, because always your mind arrives fully. Body is somewhere else. Let the body and the breath arrive fully. Now, the next few minutes, I want you to imagine yourself standing in an open or lying down in this peaceful landscape. And I want one by one the people who have supported you appear in a circle around you. They offer you presence, not perfection, not anything else. Presence. Because when the presence is offered, feel your nervous system soften. When the nervous system is softened, whisper to yourself, I do not walk this life alone. I do not walk this life alone. Observe how the mind has lost its battle of having ownership of the body. Now bring that awareness inside and locate the tension and fear or grief anywhere in the body. And place your hand on that area and speak internally. I honor you. I hear you. I honor you. I hear you. Now imagine a golden thread reconnecting the mind and the body, releasing the inner conflict. Remember this body and mind reconnecting with a golden thread and releasing that inner conflict. Let your nervous system start honoring the unity of this. We work on the belonging in harmony. Now let's come into the purpose of the healing. Place your hand on your heart now. What is the meaning of my life right now? Let the answer arrive. A feeling, a color, silence, they all are answers, not just words. Trust its purpose. Purpose is truth, not size, not poetry. Not all words. A word may arrive, take a note of it. Now, purpose, we have worked on the inner harmony, we have worked on the belonging, we have worked on arriving into this space. Now, let's integrate and gather all these through three forces. Take a deep breath in and very gently bring the knees to the chest to complete. Breathe out. Rock the spine with the same intention that you lie down. Come into a seated posture. Twist the spine to the right. Twist the spine to the left. Back into the center. Arms raise onto the ground, cleansing the space and the aura. Bodies, places, minds. Palms onto the Namaskar position. Now let's integrate the whole practice today for a deeper healing. Just the belonging, the three forces, and the belonging is behind you. Harmony within you. Purpose ahead of you. So belonging is behind you, harmony is within you, purpose ahead of you. So I want you to whisper, I'm whole, I'm guided, and I move through from the truth. Let the breath deepen this, not the talking. Let the breath deepen this. Returning gently and having that system regulate. Palms onto the Namaskar position. And very gently coming into the space of May I walk from here alive, supported and guided and at peace. Namaste. Namaste. That's why if the camera is too far to bring it, it's okay, don't breathe. Um, so we'll make sure that everyone knows the classes are back. And we have a lot of technical difficulties, and that's are trying to sort it out with this short time. So, but this is all part of life, nothing is perfect. Imperfection is the new perfect. So what we did was the great rebalancing, and we worked on the healing of belonging, healing of harmony, healing of purpose. Um, this healing is very important because with all this technology and all these things happening in the world, uh, mind can goes into the conflict, and the world can look and felt like it's fractured. But you can only help if the space of you is in the right place. So we use these forces of the real healing, belonging, harmony, and purpose. And we did a class, most appropriate class for this time. And so gently take this practice today and try to go into the depth. And we don't have to find the same names for those inquiries, what you're going through. But if you know that your anxiety is coming back and you're feeding into this ghost that lives with you. Um, just at that very moment, change by saying it. Instead of talking from that anxiety and try to get rid of it, say it's excitement. And then the whole persona of the mind and the regulation of the nervous system change, because excitement is something happening amazingly and you're so excited about it. Like you don't know the answer of when you fall in love with someone and you're so excited about it, you wait for it to happen. You're excited about something else is happening in your life. Um, you're excited about a trip. You're excited about having a dish. You're excited about so many things. So, and the excitement, the anxiety cannot live with the excitement. But if the excitement is by the old mind putting back into the anxiety, like I have to have a holiday and I can't have a holiday, that is your feeling anxiety. And be open to whatever the challenges in life comes to you. And sometimes we all ask why we are born into this place, this country, this family, this relationship, these situations. Is there something wrong with it? No, 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 no. When you realize it, those things are great blessings. That is more refining you back into the space of the soul. And that's also a place that you work it out. Not that there's an urge to heal, but urge to realize, and that realization is healing. And that happens even when I use the oyster and the pearl. Even the sand is so irritating for the oyster in the start. It turns out to be the pearl of the wisdom that whatever the irritation will bring, but that irritation has to meet by the practice. Irritation met by irritation is the conflict. It's also the trauma. By saying that all the very best for you all, I love you very much. Love Sylvia, love Matt, love Maria, Big hugs to you all from both of us. Namaste.